Hello, welcome to today's video. We are going to be starting on page 100 of Unit 9. And once again, we are in the Play Piano Now, Alfred's book 1. Okay. In the last section, we were being introduced to the G major chord and D7 chord in the left hand. But now we're going to be playing it for the right hand. So the notes are once again G, B, D, as you can see here on the page, blocked, 1, 3, and 5. Now when you play the D7 chord, you will have to move your hand a little bit into the black keys so that your thumb can be placed over F sharp. Don't ever twist your hand like that in order to reach it. Keep the wrist and the arm nice and straight. So that means you have to bring it in. And so you have F sharp, C, and D, and there's D7 right there. And then for G, you can move a little bit like that if you want. Okay, alrighty, practicing from one block to the other, you may have to move back and forth a little bit. You can keep it in here if you want, so that all you have to do is change the fingerings too. It may be kind of strange because you have all these black keys in the way, but I will leave that up to you. Once again, also a review of the left hand. Remember what the note names look like on the staff for bass clef as well as treble. Okay, on 101, we have two sight reading pieces here. This I will not give any instruction on. I will simply provide a demonstration. But as you know already, you should be clapping and counting the rhythm, clapping and saying the note name, and then you will play one hand at a time if you need to, or play both hands together if you feel ready. So keep in mind you have some dynamics here. Mixed, left hand should be louder because it is where the melody is, and the harmony should be softer. Okay, so we're going to place our hands in position. This is a practice for the right hand chords. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. Let's go on now to the next page. This is a written assignment away from the keyboard, identifying the individual notes for bass clef and treble clef of the chords G, B, D, F sharp, C, D. Get to know what they look like, where they are placed on either the bass clef or the treble clef. Also being able to identify the difference between G and D7 and G. And then right down here, number 4, we're simply going to write the name of the note. When you have a note with a sharp on the staff, the sharp goes on the left side of the note, but when you write it out as the letter, the sharp goes on the right side. So left side for the note, but right side for the letter. Let's go now for I Know Where I'm Going on page 103. Okay, so we have here left hand and right hand taking turns playing the chords. Notice, first of all, and this is something I would encourage you to do beforehand, is take your pencil and draw some slashes in the right hand or the left hand where you are supposed to lift after the slur ends, okay? So let's go ahead and listen to this piece a little bit. And remember, once again, it does say the left hand when it has, or the right hand when it has those chords, those ones should be softer. While the right hand or left hand melody is at mezzo forte. So piano for the harmony, mezzo forte for the melody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as you can see, it's a little tricky because, well, sometimes your right hand is not going to play on beat number 1 for the chord. It starts on beat number 3. So for the first two parts, we have that melody, some repeated legato. So I would encourage you to practice one hand at a time first with these repeated legatos. Lift. Now remember, the lift happens between beats 3 and 4, so you need to count there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift. Okay, so practice playing the note. You may have to say the note name too, but also most especially the counting. Okay, this one shouldn't be too hard with the left hand because that comes on beat number 1. 3, lift. Now remember, when you slur into the next note, into the next measure, that you lift the left hand before that one begins, because you don't want to have to tie it over. There is no tie here for the left hand. Okay, you're listening to that. We do also have some crescendos here. The original dynamic is mezzo forte, so it's just a little slight crescendo to the forte dynamic, in my opinion. And then a decrescendo back to mezzo forte. Now, when you are crescendoing in the right hand or the left hand, be careful not to crescendo in the left hand, okay? We don't want to make that any louder than it already is. That one should remain as piano, okay? So lifting there where that belongs. Now for the measures 9 to the end, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because your right hand chords are starting on beat 3. Okay, so we're going to have to just time it perfectly. Let's go ahead and try that out with the counts. Listen, watch it at number 9 here. 1, 2, 3, lift. And then in between 3 and 4 is when the lift happens for the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the lift happens after you bring it down on the right hand, and that should be held for 2 beats, even when you play that G after the lift. Keep it at mezzo forte, and also piano. And then you lift it there. 3, 4. Here's a crescendo. Mezzo forte to alto forte. 2, 3, 4. Lift. Decrescendo. And then we have a mixed articulation here. Both half notes, lift, and then come down together while this is still legato there. So let's go ahead and put all that together for the last system. Crescendo. 2, 3, 4, 1. Getting softer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I would encourage you hands separately first. And then, of course, we'll put them together. Now, thank you, and we will see you at next lesson.